Hello and welcome back to the Gaming 5. If there's one way to make my nerd giblets moist, it's time travel. As a man of the sciences, I understand exactly why it's not possible, and yet all the scientific theories and maths continue to remind us that time is relative. I mean, do you have any idea how many chicks I could have slept with? Quantum break is something of a hybrid, and you need to know this now. Why? Because like I said in my review of The Division, if you're a fan of one part and not the other, you might have a problem. What kind of hybrid is Quantum Break? It's a movie game. While its game part is a third-person shooter / action-adventure, its movie part is its use of real-world actors and actresses to deliver its story. Starting with the part you get to control is the action-packed firefights. You slowly gain your powers over time for some unforeseen reason, but before you know it, you're going to start kicking some major ass. Your time powers make for some nifty moves, some of which are integral to success. And by success, I mean kicking more major ass. Shooting mechanics, while not as tight as other third-person shooters, also demonstrates a realistically lighter focus. The whole reason you have time powers is because it makes you the most dangerous thing on the field rather than your gun. That is, until you face the final boss of the game. I'm putting this out there now because I have no choice but to ding the pacing. The final boss is such a sudden ramp up that you could not have possibly been prepared for it. Call it a gameplay pacing problem that suddenly rears its head in the final hours, and it's not a pleasant one. But now that we've mentioned pacing, let's talk a bit about how the movie part integrates. The movie part is quite simple. You get to make choices along the way that affect the real-world episode you'll watch. Fair warning, these episodes are actual episodes and not just cutscenes. At first it was jarring, but I actually found it nice after kicking so much ass to just put my feet up and relax for around 20 minutes. And finally, to add some flavor to the mix, you'll sometimes find yourself platforming, and these can range from small adjustments to the environment to hoping a train doesn't come at you so fast and hard from behind that you curl up into the fetal position. As a movie game, you probably have the fear that its linearity will mean it's short-lived. This is both right and wrong with Quantum Break. My first playthrough lasted 9 hours, but because of these branching decisions, that will instead pan out to double. The game's story is delivered with enough competence that knowing you could have a slightly different version of the movie means you might just want to see it twice. Imagine if your favorite movie had 2 versions of its storyline. You'd want to watch both, right? Additionally, for the collecting nut in you, the world itself is filled with tons of literature to fill in the tiny backstory gaps. Rest assured that for a movie game, you'll actually not find yourself disappointed simply because there is essentially a guaranteed second playthrough if, like me, you find time travel intriguing. That's because a second playthrough is like traveling back in time and making different decisions to see how it plays out. Yes, your mind should be blown by how real the game's concept just became. While all the work that went into digital recreations of real-world actors and actresses and the motion capture that went into their facial animation still demonstrates they haven't quite gotten it perfect, as the real-world episodes quite easily demonstrate back-to-back against their digital versions, one will struggle to deny the impressive facial work. Further impressive work is the graphical time effects. No penny was spared in making sure that both the visual and audio quality were nothing less than spectacular. I ran into a few moments of oddities, particularly in cheating edge obstruction detection, and a few other moments of screen tears due to frame rate dips. Though for some reason the screen tears almost felt like part of the presentation, which is a nod to how well everything's been put together. And finally, in terms of the real-world episodes and story, they're more TV quality in terms of budget and acting. But think good TV quality, but not quite big-budget movie quality. If there's one thing I will say again as another reference to my review of The Division, if you don't mind 2 genres having babies, then you might have enough of an open mind to recognize the feat that has been achieved with Quantum Break. While it has enough faults to knock it out of the top tier of review scores, Quantum Break is a step forward in the movie game concept. It successfully combines the two, segueing your ass-kickery with popcorn-munching entertainment. It's just too bad that its shooting mechanics feel a bit loose, the final boss is jarringly out of pace, and that its episodes and story scream TV show special. Otherwise, I simply remind you to wipe the popcorn butter off your fingers before you pick the controller back up. I give Shawn Ashmore an 8.5 out of 10. That's it for today. See you next time on the Gaming 5.